Hey, what's up? It's Phoenix and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different, but something that is completely in line and in sync with what I have done in the past for my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to do the second part of what could be called A World of Fear, Oppression in Real Time, which was a video that I made a few years ago detailing some struggles that I had with what could be described as the system, but what was the world at large, and with skewed ideologies of authorities and the like. And so this is part 2 of that, because I wanted to convey something that happened today, and I wanted to convey a really important theme in my writing and in my understanding of the world and in my own quote-unquote ideologies. The first video that I made, again, it was called A World of Fear, Oppression in Real Time. And it was describing an incident that I had with the security guard who was basically being paranoid about me when I was writing a poem. And I was just out and about at a mental health facility, and I was just writing a poem, and he basically was harassing me, and it was a very weird encounter. But I, at the time, noticed the deeper theme of stigma. He might have thought that I had mental illness or something. There was no telling what he thought, but I saw it as a blatant manipulation of power for him to intimidate me and to invoke fear in me. And I won't get into it. I encourage you to check out the video yourself for your own enjoyment. And it's interesting because YouTube doesn't list all of my videos, so I'm actually not sure if that video even shows up in my homepage or in my channel, but definitely look it up. And I will look it up and see if I can provide the link. But suffice to say, the theme that comes out of my experiences is the cruel ways in which authority skews its power, the way that authority seeks to control people, manipulate them into thinking a certain way, into thinking about themselves in a certain way. One of my biggest critiques of the way that we treat the mentally ill is that we treat them as though they are legitimately crazy, as if they have no redeeming value, as if they are an outsider and have no value to add to the mainstream. And so what it does is it creates a lot of people on the margins. And honestly, people with mental illness have it a lot worse than I do. I have managed to live a very good life because I'm supported by family and friends, because I have a community, and because I have ways of coping through art and through other means, and I work, and I have a network, and it allows me to live my life in the best way that I can. But not everybody is lucky. So let's continue this discussion with describing something that happened today that made me very angry, but something that I needed to consider, something that also made me sad. The argument that I would define is that I have through time learned how to be more assertive, learning how to convey my understanding of things and to have not too much intensity with the things that I express, with following social norms, with following social cues, with following the kind of social guidelines that we have. But I realized today that if the flood was going to drown me, that I would have to admit that it's out of my control. That if it drowned me, that it is out of my control. And this was hard for me to realize because I try to keep my mental illness in check all of the time. I try to keep my situation grounded and my own mind grounded in the world. But I realized that I can change my mannerisms. I can change my knowledge by adding to it and learning these norms that will supposedly make things smoother. I can even change my physical appearance in the best way that I can through working out. Some people, of course, who go to cosmetic surgery to be able to deal with that. You know, I could change my hair or whatever. I mean, who knows? There are so many things I could do. And believe me, I've implemented these things. But it does not stop people from calling me crazy or from assuming that I have some kind of mental illness even though I betrayed nothing and they're going strictly off appearance. Today I was at Target, and I was trying to exercise by walking around some and kind of loosen up my muscles, which were very sore from soccer. And I was very much just a shopper like anyone else. And I happened to run into someone who I thought worked there. The shirt looked very official. They had headphones in as though they were talking with other members of the staff. And they were staring intently at the shelves, and I thought that they had a cart and were putting things in. I mean, obviously that's not what was going on, though I wouldn't have known this at the time. It was someone else. But the thing that was difficult was that I asked the person if they knew if we had hand sanitizer. And it was because I thought he worked there, which was a simple mistake which anybody could have made. But he turned to me and he became sarcastic and I think calloused and I would describe as cruel. And he said that I was crazy. He called me, he was like, "Who is this crazy guy?" And normally I might have seen that as a joke, but this was very explicit. I could see the kind of fear in his eyes, which I don't believe was from anything that I would have been projecting at the time, because it was just friendliness and following the norms of friendliness to other people and the like, and what could be called being cordial. But he still nonetheless made that comment, even though it was unnecessary, even though it had nothing to do with anything, and it hurt, it cut, and it was very unnecessary. And so I kind of tried to mediate it, and I was like, well, I know it's a weird time right now with the coronavirus and stuff, and believe me, I get that people are scared about coronavirus. I mean, I have felt this infection of fear, and it has been driving me crazy to an extent, because there is little that I can do about it, about this world pandemic. But everybody's basically in a craze because they're trying to avoid the coronavirus. People are antisocial, and they say mean things, and they stereotype people, and frankly, I am sick of it. And I stood up for myself in the best way that I could by being rational and reasonable with my statements, by just saying, laughing it off and being like, I get it, it's stressful times. But this person was very cruel. And normally I might be willing to look at the other arguments and see like what was going on in the situation, and of course realizing that it's not me. But these arguments go very, very deep, that people make such cruel assumptions about me and I have no idea why. I don't look like a crazy professor. I don't look like a mad scientist. And I know that. Now, I don't want to go too deep into this. I wanted this to be a brief video to capture my theme of an oppression that I see in the world of people that are stigmatized and stereotyped. And this has happened a lot in my life, and it makes me upset because it is always unnecessary, especially when I myself am already dealing with things in my own life and I have enough going on. I can already hear people who would side with this other person and assume that I was threatening even though I wasn't, and assume that maybe I do project mental illness and that I deserve these things that happen to me. But frankly, this kind of ridiculousness, honestly, and madness needs to stop, because it's not cool. And you don't look cool by being disrespectful to people with mental illness, people with a specific way of thinking about the world. And you don't look cool doing stuff like that. So stop. That's it. That's all I have for today. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that it illuminated you to a degree, and understand that if you follow my YouTube channel, there will be a lot of things that I discuss that will be outside of the box. But I hope that you're ready for that. And I hope that you're ready for the passion that I bring to this channel. I'm Phoenix, and keep a lookout for future videos. Thank you for watching, and if you don't like this video, you can feel free to comment below, but just understand that I'm not going to be okay with needless criticism, and that I can already hear the arguments, but that I believe that they are wrong, because they don't capture my experience. This is Phoenix, and thank you for watching. See you next time.